Hello and welcome everybody to the grand final of the Thailand Championship, a best of 3 series between Team Malaysia and Mineski. Of course, Team Malaysia, since they came from the winner bracket final, they do have that one game advantage. So all they need to do is win game number 1, or well, I guess in theory it's going to be game number 2, but they're going to need to win one game only in this grand final to actually take it home for themselves. But of course, Mineski, they have other plans in mind. Of course, we are HeflaTV, the English coverage for you for this last series of this tournament. I'm Couchor and I'm joined once again by Mikelorus. How you doing?
I am honestly hoping that Team Malaysia take the series because I am freaking tired right now. But I mean, Mineski just coming off of a win, have a lot of momentum. But I mean, Malaysia, they're just playing so dominantly this entire tournament, and this has been all the time while banning Huskar Pugna first. Like they don't care. They got their hands on Death Prophet, and we have been seeing how much of an impact Mushi has been having with the hero. It's been pretty much unstoppable.
There's definitely something, with Team Malaysia. Before, they used to ban the Abaddon and...
Spirit Breaker.
Oh yeah, Abaddon and Spirit Breaker, yeah, so they switched it up with a Pugna and Huskar. I'm not really too sure why they did that, but I guess just whatever floats at their boat. It's been working so far for them, so... But Death Prophet Lion up against Brewmaster Terrorblade. Lion, of course, is good against Terrorblade, just because you have two ways to deal with the illusions. The mana drain as well as the Hex. And the burst damage coming from Finger of Death is definitely something you would usually want to have up against Terrorblade, just to make sure he can't sunder at the last second or anything. But Mineski going for a Tidehunter once again. Up against First Departure, it worked pretty well for them. Some of the Ravages earlier on, or even in the mid-game kind of phase, were lackluster to say the least, but in the end, they pulled through, so maybe we're gonna see a semi-successful Tidehunter again.
Yeah, we could hope. The last Tidehunter had hit or miss performance, and well, Team Malaysia, they have a lineup that can punish this Terrorblade so far. However, Mineski, they are actually building Terrorblade a pretty nice shell of heroes. You generally want to have a lot of tanky frontline for Terrorblade. Between Ravage and Split, Terrorblade is going to have a lot of room to do what he wants. And what he wants involves just Metamorphosis and just go to town on anyone he could find. So Team Malaysia, they're going to have to find some way to punish this Terrorblade a little bit more. And there you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you punish a hero. You get to the backlines through Timber Chain. You just bypass everything and then burst them down with sheer pure damage.
It's definitely a nice way to deal with this. And Timbersaw overall is maybe a little bit underplayed. But Mineski picking up a Mirana, yes, in theory, all well and good, you can land the arrow in Timbersaw and make it so that he cannot Timber Chain away. But where's the setup at the moment for that? And are the Team Malaysia going to go for more heroes that can take advantage of just the lack of lockdown on Mineski?
I think they definitely can do that. I mean, they're dealing with Arrow and they're dealing with Ravage, so Mineski, they have some ways to stop the heroes in huge, large-scale fights, and well, Malaysia, they're going to be looking for one more support hero, one more core. They actually might want to consider picking up a Shadow Demon for themselves. It doesn't seem like that'll be a terrible way to go. It'll defend them pretty well against what Mineski have to offer and deny that to Mineski as well, but it's actually going to be an Enchantress. I don't think I've seen this hero throughout this entire tournament.
I saw it yesterday, I think it was. It failed completely just because it had literally zero early game presence. Tried to go for a couple of ganks, failed on all of them. And like 10 minutes in, he was still only level 6 or something like that. But of course, Team Malaysia, they used to, or well, when they were still Titan, they used to run the Enchantress so often. And more often than not, actually, the Enchantress found himself in the enemy jungle to begin with. So Team Malaysia, they are usually a team that likes to run really aggressive strategies. We might be looking at one here as well.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to get under the Terrorblade before he gets really big. Just cut him off at the knees and hit him with very early aggression. And, well, it doesn't really get much better than Enchantress. It is a hero that doesn't really need anything to do well. And Lion would like the experience. So you have Enchantress jungle, you have Lion do the pulling. And then hopefully for Team Malaysia, pick up a final core hero that is able to fight early on. I think this might be a game where a Luna Gyrocopter is going to be preferable as they'll be able to fight early. And they already ran a Luna previously. Mushi did play it, so I mean, is he going to play Death Prophet or is he going to play one of those other heroes? It will be a kind of toss-up there, but those types of heroes will be able to really punish Mineski for picking up this Terrorblade.
Well, that's the one good thing about Team Malaysia is that Mushi and KYXY, they're both pretty just capable players on really almost any hero they can go for. They pretty often also swap out their lanes. KYXY hits to the mid lane or safe lane, they don't really care all that much. So it's always nice to have the flexibility between players and just hero roles like that. We'll see if they want to go for the Luna. Definitely they could go for one. just a pretty decent amount of additional burst if need be. Also a hero that just builds up a BKB early on, which up against Mineski will be a pretty great item, to be honest. So we'll see if they want to go for that Mineski though. The last pick coming out, it must be some kind of support, right?
Yeah, I think it has to be someone to set up for Mirana, but also someone who could potentially fight a little bit early. Eventual Spirit seems pretty decent for Mineski, as it's going to be a decent amount of setup and everything else as well. Melee support's kind of off the table. Oh, Earthshaker. I mean, I just said melee support kind of off the table, but there they go. They have 4 melee heroes against a Timbersaw. That is dangerous times for Mineski.
Oh, it most certainly is. Oh god. It's... Oh, I'm not even too sure. Earthshaker, he's nice against Timbersaw in a sense, but Timberchain, you can still get over the Fisher, and really, I don't see Mineski being able to kill the Timbersaw all that much in the early laning phase, to be honest. Of course, it depends on how Team Malaysia are going to lane it as well, but if it should be an offlane Timber, up against what Mineski's tri-lane will be, I just don't see any huge threat, unless they really land just the Fisher Arrow combination perfectly, but it's not the easiest to land since Fisher early on, it's not a really long stun duration.
Yeah, it is a possibility of killing the Timbersaw, but it is rather unlikely. And Timbersaw, even if he does go up against a Tidehunter, if the lanes pan out in such a way where there's a 3v3 going on, then that's also a pretty decent lane for Timber. Obviously, Anchor Smash is pretty devastating against a 0 armor or 0 base armor hero, but he has Whirling Death, and that's pretty much able to fight back. So the lanes are looking pretty solid for Team Malaysia, and really as long as they have any range heroes, and they already do, they should be able to sufficiently punish Mineski. And a Doom is the last. That is not the hero I really expected from Malaysia, but if you're talking about shutting down Terrorblade, shutting down the Brewmaster, I guess Doom can certainly still get the job done.
Oh, he most certainly can, but it's just not a common hero nowadays. I'm not too sure if it's going to work out. Against Tidehunter, it's all well and good. Even against Terrorblade, if you can find the correct Terrorblade that is, it can be extremely strong as well. Even a Brewmaster, so I can definitely see the usefulness of the Doom ability, but I'm not too sure how good of a hero it is overall, especially if you're going for that early game regression with the Enchantress Doombringer. With the Scorcher, if he can chase people down, maybe even Orb of Venom on top of that and smack them, but I have mixed feelings about just how effective it's actually going to be.
Yeah, me too. I think they probably could have gotten away with a hero that is a lot more early game oriented, and I mean Doom can do a little bit, but really it's where level 6 is he hits his stride, so it's going to be a little bit of an unnecessary delay, I think. But we're going to see how this Doom actually behaves in this game. He might just end up surprising us all, as it is, after all, Team Malaysia. And they are loading up into their lanes. We got Net playing the support Lion for them. KYXY is going to be heading up towards the top lane as a Timbersaw with X in the jungle as the Enchantress. Mushi's going to be playing the Death Prophet for the umpteenth time. That leaves Ohio on the Doom.
And for Mineski, on the Radiant side, Choni will be playing the Terrorblade, leaving Owa 5-5-9 free on the Earthshaker, Chisiwash on the Mirana, with Fu taking up the mid lane role on the Brewmaster, and the last one will be JJ on the Tidehunter.
Alright, so it looks like they're going to go aggressively with this Terrorblade, which has its flaws, especially when you're dealing up against a Timbersaw. They're going to be running into a jungle plus a Lion, and they'll have opportunities where this lane is going to go very well for them, but when the Enchantress does come out, Mineski, pretty much their only option is to fissure and then disengage. Otherwise, the Enchantress creep is going to be such a huge swing, and if anyone gets hexed, then damage from Timbersaw is going to flow. So it is going to be a 3v3, and then it's going to turn out to be Doom versus Tidehunter. We've seen this lineup time and time again, and most of the time it's Tide coming out on top.
Just any melee hero really up against Tidehunter is hard to play. Darkseer probably the best of heroes, but Darkseer just isn't all that popular. KYXY though, Reflection comes out, Arrow will connect as well after the Fisher. It is gonna be another first blood, you know, it is early on in the favor of Mineski. I guess it is. Whirling Death doesn't really accomplish anything, and Ova picks up the first blood on the Earthshaker. Second game in a row for them. Second game. Or actually no, never mind. I'm thinking about Team Malaysia versus Mineski earlier on, right? Or was it first departure versus Mineski? Ohio died in the Roche pit.
Yeah, that was first departure.
They popped double sentries? That was a misclick.
Well, no one invisible is going to be getting around there. Those actually both placed by the Shaker, so I don't really know what the deal is there. They're going to throw another arrow, which will miss on the Timbersaw, but Team Malaysia not off to the best of starts with that. Really, I think teams are kind of a little bit too comfortable trying to get these runes. Like, there are 2 of them, and you generally want to secure as many as you can, and that's been the case for a very long time, but you really need some sufficient stunning backup if you want to try to just grab that rune.
I have to agree with you. I've seen like maybe even like 60%, maybe even slightly more percent of the games that just first blood happens at the first rune, especially on the top side. I mean, but the smoke gank. Net together with Extender want to go for the Tidehunter. Kraken Shell level 1, it's not as strong as it could be, and they're gonna go for it. There's the Hex coming out first, Thunderclap to follow from the Hellbear Smasher. Should be an easy kill really. Who's gonna grab it though? They're gonna leave it to, actually, Net picks it up on the Lion, but still, good kill. Unfortunately, not the first blood.
Yeah, but still showing off the power of Thunderclap. Recently changed, and it does do a crap ton of damage. It's one of the higher damaging skills that you could pick up on your Enchantress. So it's going to be a nice rotation down towards the Tidehunter, and Doom is a hero that could certainly benefit from those early game rotations. They're going to go up towards top where KYXY is potentially in a little bit of trouble. Arrow not being thrown, however, so Timbersaw is going to live. The Doom really does need the help against Tidehunter. Without any support, he's probably just going to fall further and further behind, and it looks like Enchantress and Lion are going to more or less make their home down on this bottom lane. However, there is a Radiant Observer Ward, so they will be able to spot out most of this movement, and when it's blocked off their own camp, but they had no intention of using that camp anyway, so it's going to work out pretty well for Mineski.
So at the moment, Team Malaysia definitely going for the aggressive route. Of course, Tidehunter not the easiest hero to bring down. Still, I think JJ himself, he's going to play a little bit more cautiously now, knowing that the Enchantress is in the enemy or is in their own jungle. He still might back into Net. Oh, they're just trying to hide themselves in the trees. He sees the Satyr though, I think.
Yeah, seeing the Satyr doesn't actually mean anything though. I mean, he's not going to be able to pull, but yeah, he's not going to be in too much trouble. They're buying a lot of space for Ohio down in the bottom lane. It looks like he's going to go for a fast Hand of Midas actually, so maybe taking this late isn't the best idea, but hey, if you get a fast Midas on Doom, you might as well go for that item. Over towards the other lanes, we're seeing Mushi and Fu kind of at a standstill over in this mid lane. They're drawing even against one another up towards top. KYXY actually getting quite a lot versus this Terrorblade, who's also having a little bit of trouble. His lane got pushed out a little bit too far.
To be honest, Timbersaw solo definitely should be able to handle a Terrorblade, and supports, they've been just rotating around so much. Mineski is a little bit less than Team Malaysia's, but have been rotating around a little bit nonetheless. Ova gets a clarity onto Chesivash, which he much needed as well. And they smoke up. It's going to be still some time before he has enough mana for the arrow. But which lane is just most beneficial for them to gank?
Well, it's definitely going to be mid. They already tried for an arrow there and they missed, so maybe take 2 is going to be a little bit better, though Mushi is a pretty difficult hero to kill. Even without boots, he is more on the fast side. Going for Timbersaw is definitely attractive, but I don't know if they could make that happen. They're going to set up for Mushi. The arrow's going to whiff, however. It almost lined up perfectly, but almost doesn't get you kills, so they're going to unfortunately fail in that gank attempt, and well, they're still roaming around the map trying to apply pressure, but they're not actually getting any kills.
If the Death Prophet had actually landed on the other side of the Fisher, I think the arrow would have been spot on. But it's just so hard to get it like that. And Johnny just taking some harassment from KYX, like uses the reflection. Can they turn it around? Never mind, Chesivash didn't even have enough mana for the arrow. So we're 4.5 minutes in Mirana. He's still only level 1. Is the Earthshaker? Well, he's level 2 at the very least, but they are definitely struggling. Of course, on the counterpart Team Malaysia, looking exactly at the same amount of XP more or less on the supports.
I mean, they have their level 2s, and level 2 Lion is so much better than level 1 Lion because you get 2 disables. So, I mean, the supports aren't really going to be contributing that much, and at that point, you have to look towards the cores to see who's getting the upper hand, and Doom is certainly having a great time down this bottom lane. The additional help from the supports going to give him almost his level 6, and he probably can't kill off the Tidehunter, but he could certainly threaten him, especially if he has rotating supports. Mid lane's still more or less a wash, and top lane's still more or less a wash. We're going to be in for a rather passive game. I would expect X and Net to be playing a lot more aggressively, given their heroes.
I would have expected it as well, although just as you say that they might be going for it. Yeah, the smoke comes out, Net. He has the Tranquil Boots as well. So he's pretty speedy, should be able to get close enough, unless, oh man, Chesivash, he's going to just break the smoke and they should be fine, although Net, never mind, yeah, they back off in time.
They're going to throw an arrow. It's a short one onto Net, but a Fissure should follow up, especially if Johnny gets this reflection. The Fissure's going to wall off the Terrorblade, however. Now Net should be home free, although the split has already been used. Net should be the casualty here. He's going to buy up before he dies, so they do lose the Lion, but this is actually Mineski rotating most of their heroes over towards the mid lane, That was Mirana being in the right place at the right time. That was a split being used pretty prematurely, but hell, you got the kill anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Not too sure how worth it even was, just because Terrorblade, he came out, he's not farming at the same time, he's gonna get the Satyr. So that's gonna be nice, actually 111 gold, not too shabby at all. But also the Primal Split was used. So maybe not the best of fights, still a kill is a kill this early on. No need to really hold on to the big... Oh god.
They're going to go for the Tidehunter. Doom already, and no Anchor Smash has landed. Very short Spike, and a very short Hex, actually, as the Kraken Shell was debuffed out. It looks like the Doom should be lethal. However, he might get denied. He will be denied. It's going to be Mirana to kill off the friendly Tide.
Nicely done, just JC coming in on the Mirana, getting the deny. Of course, Doom still has the Midas. He's going to still get a crazy amount of farm. Devour already maxed out. And he is 2 levels above the Tidehunter. That is absolutely ridiculous considering it has been a 1v1 matchup for the most part, and Tidehunter usually crushes that kind of matchups against melees.
Yeah, so it's definitely Ohio who's going to get the upper hand in this. Unfortunately, not getting a kill on Tide, as the Doom didn't actually do much versus that Kraken Shell, which buffed out most of the Hex, unfortunately. But, you know, as it stands, they're still going to be holding the lane pretty well. Now they're looking for Fu over towards mid. Mushi doesn't want in on this, though, so they're not going to get this kill.
I would have liked to see actually Brewmaster back off and go for the Thunderclap onto Extinct with the Fisher to help out, and oh, Net together with Ohio, they find an easy kill onto JC. No chance to even just leap out. The Earth Spike level 2 and Hex, a little bit too long with the duration, but the Fisher, it doesn't stun Net, but the body blocking might still be enough with the pathing as well. Net running into the trees, going for the TP out, oh, smart choice.
And he's going to stick the landing as well. Unfortunately, that Fissure, though he did get the wall, he didn't actually get the stun, so for all intents and purposes, the Fissure missed. And that's never a good sign, as you don't really have that much else besides that Fissure. They're going to throw an arrow over towards mid. Mushi is not going to back up into that one. Now the Fissure on the wrong side. Well, they have no chance of getting this Death Prophet kill now. She doesn't have her Exorcism just yet. She will have it soon enough, though, and then the tower is in quite a bit of trouble. And speaking of trouble, top lane Johnny's in quite a bit of it. Timber Chain, I'm sure KYXY is going to think about going, but he has to respect the possibility for Sunder. He's going to play it safe.
That happened so fast. I was like, checking at the map and suddenly looking at the top side, Johnny dropping so damn low. Of course, if you connect on with all 3 spells, the Chakram, Timber Chain as well as the Whirling Death, that magic burst is so ridiculous. And so far, KYXY on the Timber Saw, he's been having a pretty good time, 44 and 6. Slightly outdoing the Terrorblade, who is sitting at 41 and 7. So Timber Saw, is it definitely a hero you want to get a good start on? And do you think it's just gonna go like Soul Ring into Bloodstone now, or Blade Mail? What item choice would you like to see on the Timber?
I think it should be pretty standard for Timber, but they're going to go for Death Prophet first. Arrow's going to be set up by a Cyclone. Mushi's going to get chain stunned up, and Net can't really do anything because he's stunned up as well. Mushi trying to run away, has a regen rune. Thrown up into the air, though. Should have popped that one. Now he's going to lose his life without doing anything, I don't think. Yeah, he's going to go down to one more clap, and where are Team Malaysia? They are just scrambling to do anything, really. Ohio down on bottom lane, doesn't want to leave. In fact, doesn't have a TP, and KYXY doesn't want to leave either. So they're going to give up Mushi for free to Mineski. This Brewmaster has been getting some pretty decent splits, even though they haven't been actually near the enemy. He's just been catching them off guard with it.
Definitely a worthwhile setup using the Primal Split like that, and landing the arrow as well. He must have used the Purge effect of the Storm Panda at the right time, just to make sure the arrow does actually land. So nice kill there, and with that kill, Brewmaster also has himself the Blink Dagger, so Blink Thunderclap, they can just start going so much more aggressive all of a sudden. Hopefully the supports will be around as well to catch up with levels.
Yeah, because so far we haven't really seen much of X or Net. I mean, Net's been doing a lot more than the Enchantress for sure, but if the Enchantress isn't pushing very early on, then she's pretty much a dead hero. Really want to see more coming out from this Enchantress, but at this point, like 9 minutes in, it's already kind of late. She's level 4. She will have a little more damage later on. Fu's going to jump right in to an Impale. They're going to clean up the Centaur pretty quickly. Now the Ravage onto 3. X is in a lot of trouble. The arrow should be land up pretty squarely, and Enchantress is going to go down. Here comes KYXY, though, as well as Ohio has a Doom. They can't find an angle to go in. There's no trees, actually, for the Timbersaw to jump in onto, and that's just going to be the death of the Enchantress.
Unfortunately, Net, or overall a Lion, its mana pool is pretty damn bad. So he didn't go for Arcane Boots, went for the Tranquil Boots instead, which means he can't really spam out all that much. At least Mushi was sharing some bottle charges with him. But all in all, 4-3, the kill score. Looking at the net worth, Team Malaysia, all 3 of their cores are still going to be #1. Oh, the arrow just barely misses. If it had connected with the Blink Thunderclap, just hitting him before even, I think it would have been a kill. The Fisher is there as well. That 4 heroes still hanging around in the mid lane for Mineski. That's kind of a waste, to be honest. Somebody should just soak up some XP and farm on the bottom lane.
Yeah, Ohio's really getting the upper hand on this one, as he's now sitting at 1,800 gold. He might even be going for travels, as he has so much gold. You might as well go for an item like that. But he's really not worrying about too much of what's going on around the map. He's happily farming down there, and KYXY happily farming on top as well. It is going to be a Bloodstone build on him, and he's now going to be in a little bit of trouble, as Fu's going to close in with the Blink Dagger. However, it seems like KYXY knows about this. The split is there, but KYXY going to get stunned up. Reflection as well. Arrow's going to be landing onto him as well. Actually, I think a creep might have gotten hit by that, but he's going to go down anyway.
No, he got hit. Sometimes when you're stunned, as another stun lands, the debuff or the icon for the debuff will remain as the first stun that connected. So the arrow still landed. He was still stunned. Otherwise, he would have just tried to escape at the very least. But nice kill there, getting KYXY. Unfortunately, Bloodstone not finished yet, so he's not going to lose any charges from it. Still though, slowing him down. If Timurso gets the Bloodstone really early and just starts wrecking through everybody in team fights and starts racking up the charges, he is so hard to stop, but he's not at that stage yet, thank god for Mineski. But in the meantime, Team Malaysia, they are going for a tower, and they shoot as well with the lineup that they have, really.
Yeah, you got the Exorcism, you might as well use it. It will be a tower trade, as Terrorblade takes up a tower up top. Metamorphosis, such a devastating tool at taking those towers. Still Malaysia, they're kind of fighting 5v4, as X is pretty much a dead hero at this point. He doesn't have anything to his name. He has a heal, which is, I guess, nice. But if he had Impetus, he would be so much more useful. A Blink Dagger on Doom is going to help Team Malaysia start these fights and kind of counter off the Blink Dagger that the Brewmaster's been using to great effect. So maybe this is the item that's going to start Team Malaysia off to a little bit of action, but I don't know if they could get much done. Maybe if Net gets a hit Finger of Death and they could do it, or maybe even just go for Johnny with just Blink Doom. That could be good as well if they land Hex. There's the Blink Doom and the slow with the clap, but Net needs to close in for distance. It's too slow. The Lion had his Tranquil Boots pop before, so he can't get that going. Now an arrow's going to fly. Net's going to dodge that one barely just by running straight, but they use Doom and they don't get anything for it.
Oh, that's pretty sad, to be honest. I think that's a second Doom usage. First one was on the Tidehunter, which also got denied from him. So not getting the most, at least. His farm, of course, with the Devour and Midas is still going to be pretty sick even without the kills. But suddenly Mineski, they have a Blink Dagger on JJ's Tidehunter. They're going to have the Blink Ravage to work with. They're going to have the Blink Thunderclap, Primal Split, of course, from the Brewmaster. Whereas Team Malaysia, Blink Doom, yes, all well and good, but it just doesn't compare to a Blink Ravage.
Yeah, especially if you can't actually capitalize off of a Blink Doom. It's going to silence them for sure, but as far as actually locking them down, you need a little bit more. Thunderclap slow is certainly nice, but he doesn't even have that anymore, instead favoring the Wolves, the Alpha Wolves auras and skills. So Doom is going to be a fairly useless initiator unless he has backup, and well, he's going to be initiated upon because Fu is in the area, might blink up towards X, and he will do so instantly into the split. The Enchantress is pretty tanky with that heal, and the arrow's not going to land. I think this Enchantress might actually live. She's going to actually get thrown up into the air and heal all the while. So it's not really what you want to have happen. X is going to take yet another rock stun, but he's still not dying. This Enchantress is pretty durable. Where's the rest of Team Malaysia, though? They are not really in position. KYX walked the Chalk Room, but that's about it. The rest of the heroes are on the bottom lane pushing that.
I'm not too sure how good they're going to be with the push, though, and I think they're going to get jumped upon. Yes, they are. Catch the slow Mushi down, of course, with the Yules. Is so damn speedy. Throws the Earthshaker up in the air, but there's the Ravage. Connects some Mushi. Fisher will be finally coming out. They get the Hex onto Fu, although Net going for the TP out. I don't think it's going to succeed. Yeah, going to get stunned up.
And Johnny actually sunders him, which doesn't interrupt anymore, so he just gave away a little bit of his HP, but hey, he got the kill, so it doesn't even matter in the end. In the meantime, top lane Team Malaysia, they are going to push a tower, and they will get something in the end, but I mean, they're just getting outmaneuvered. They are kind of just voluntarily fighting fights poorly, and the Death Prophet, as soon as she used her Yule Scepter on that Earthshaker, it was just a huge green light for the Tidehunter to use his Ravage, knowing that the Death Prophet was guaranteed to get hit by that. And then once the first stun lands, the rest of the stuns are pretty much guaranteed to land as well.
7-3 Mineski, looking decentish as far as their just ability to take fights goes, but looking at the graphs, net worth still a 3k lead for Team Malaysia. XP now with the fights, 500 in the favor of Mineski. But Team Malaysia, they're just farming more efficiently. And look at the Doombringer, he's picked up himself a point booster. Are we really gonna see an Aghanims Doombringer?
I don't think you go for anything else. Tidehunter is gonna get killed by Ancients. That was not an intentional suicide, that was just him derping up. That definitely happened, but he's not going to lose that much. 269 gold down the drain, but it could be worse. Yeah, you don't really go for a point booster if you're not going to be going for Aghanims, and I don't really like Aghanims on Doom. Although I suppose if you do get it on like a Tide Hunter, then he's just completely useless. I just think he could be going for more useful items.
Maybe it's a Bloodstone. Is that more useful even? That's the question.
Probably not.
Oh man, it definitely does have its merits. Just getting it on the Terror Blade, for example, I don't. Maybe a Brewmaster or Tide, like you said, they're going to be just completely useless once doomed. Still though, I just think there are better items as well. Going for like any kind of tank, Terror Blade. Drops low on the top lane again, KYXY just gets a run through the Terror Blade. And I'm surprised that the Terror Blade hasn't died yet, 16 minutes in. Team Malaysia, they've been trying to go on him for a couple of times. Every single time it has failed.
Yeah, he's been dropping so low, and I think KYXY could probably go for these kills if he was feeling a little bit bolder, but he's respecting the Sunder, and it is certainly a dangerous ultimate, but I don't know, the burst damage from Timbersaw, I probably would have gone for most of those kill attempts, is you could just keep your distance and then line up a Timber Chain or a Chakram or something like that, and Sunder's actually pretty slow to cast, so you could probably burst him before he has any chance of doing anything, but it's still Malaysia with 3 kills down. They are still in the lead in golden experience. As you said, they are farming better, but it just feels like Mineski have so much more control over this game, given that they have Blink Daggers on their Brew and on their Tide Hunter, and soon to be their Shaker as well.
It's a little bit reminiscent of the previous game we just casted, Mineski versus First Departure, where the team fight, Mineski, they were just fighting so damn well, but Miracle still kept on farming like a madman. In that game, of course, it was only Miracle really farming for First Departure. At the moment for the Team Malaysia, all 3 of their cores are getting a pretty hefty sum of gold. Just Bloodstone already finished on KYXY. They smoke gank as 4. If they're gonna find some kills, definitely gonna help out in the Timbersaw Snowball with just getting the additional Bloodstone charges. Who can they go for though? Jessivash might just be able to leap out to the high ground, for example. Nope, never mind. Blink Doom comes out, no leap, level def, gets the multiplier as well. He's gonna take down for sure.
Yeah, Ohio not even needing his teammates. His teammates literally did nothing for Team Malaysia there. But Mushi is now in the bottom lane in a little bit of trouble. The Tide Hunter movement is going to give everything away, and Mushi's going to make it out alive. The rest of Team Malaysia rotating down. They don't have a Doom, however, and without that ultimate, fighting a fight versus the Brewmaster and Tide ultimates is going to be unnecessarily risky. So I think even though they do have the Exorcism, they probably can take a tower fight if they really tried. There's no reason to do it right now.
Exorcism is level 2, so they might even attempt the erosion. Of course, for that, they're gonna have to have perfect map vision, since up against Tide Hunter, a Earthshaker, as well as a Brewmaster. And whoa, speaking of the Earthshaker, he's only 300 gold away from his Blink.
Yeah, this is going to be an extremely fast Blink Dagger for the Shaker, and with all this initiation, KYXY's going to try to shut him down, but he messes up and catches a random tree with the Timber Chain instead of the one he wanted, so he's not going to get that kill. And Team Malaysia, they're tanky, they have all their items up, but these items are not really going to account for much when they're being Blink Ravaged or Blink Echo Slammed. I mean, when that happens, it doesn't matter what you have. You might be able to survive it and get some skills off, but you're already pretty much crippled at that point.
Oh, mid lane we might see some action. Net doesn't have his Blink there yet. There's the Moonlight Shadows as well. Did they see Team Malaysia? They popped the sentry. Oh, they want to go top side, Mushi. He's gonna dodge the arrow, should be fine. Reflection shouldn't be enough from Johnny. But look at Johnny, he's up to 3k gold. He went for the Robe of Magi, so I was thinking he's just going for power threads, drums, and just items after that. Is he really going for Radiance now?
I don't know, it seems like he is. It seems kind of silly to just randomly buy an over Robe of the Magi. It's incredibly cost inefficient. Mid lane, KYXY is going to try to go for this Tide. Now has a little bit of support. Spike, Finger of Death, not going to kill him off just yet. 60 HP survives. Someone hit this Tide Hunter. Now the Blink Ravage onto everybody. KYXY is focusing down by the Brewmaster, and he's going to try to throw Chakram. Will get the kill on Tide after all, but now he's going to pay for it with his life, it seems. The heal might just be enough. He's going to potentially suicide. I think it's about time to suicide KYXY. There he goes, healing up the Lion, but it's going to be his death. Now X is going to be dropped very quickly as well. In the meantime, Mushi's going to secure Aegis. So they take a 2-for-1 trade, and it's in Roshan as well. Ultimately not too terrible for Team Malaysia. They don't have to worry about Ravage, nor do they have to worry about the split either. So that actually was a lot better for them than I really thought.
It definitely was, although they should have gotten the Tide Hunter kill before. KYX actually missed with the first Chakram. Oh, nice blink out from Fu as well on the Brewmaster. Still gonna get thrown up in the air. Haste run onto Mushi. No Exorcism though, so I don't think they have enough damage Fisher to make it so that they won't want to go at all anyway. Aghanim Scepter though finished on Ohio now on the Doombringer. Has the TP available, has the blink of course. They're gonna have to kill Choini, but he's gonna have his Sacred Relic before they have a chance to kill him.
Yeah, so this is actually getting pretty dangerous for Team Malaysia. They haven't shut down this Terrorblade at all. In fact, he is still sitting at 0 deaths, and when you have an Enchantress that hasn't really been doing that much at this stage, you could kind of discount her. So she's not going to be very useful, whereas the Mirana, always with the arrows and stars, is going to be useful, and Earthshaker now with the blink is going to be very useful as well. So Team Malaysia, this game is now in the hands of their cores, and you could always count on Team Malaysia's cores to be performing, but generally it's net and X to solidify the early game for Team Malaysia, and that hasn't happened in this game.
It definitely has not. I mean, Mineski, they're looking decent enough, and at some point, if they just continue with the raid, Johnny, especially if he finishes his Radiant, this Terrorblade is gonna get absolutely huge, and even if he gets doomed, I mean, talking about really late stages of the game, he's still gonna have a crap ton of physical damage, and most likely, he's gonna have a lot of illusions out at the same time anyway when he gets doomed. So he's still gonna be a huge threat, and without the Doom on him, I'm not too sure if they can actually kill him even. Maybe Lion will be enough, who has his own Blink Dagger. Finally, the courier is gonna bring it out to him, so Blink, Lion with the Hex, Finger of Death. Definitely gonna be huge. I just hope that he's gonna get level 11 soon enough, because level 1 Finger of Death cooldown is pretty long.
Yeah, it's going to be a very nice level for him, but he's only level 8, so that's very far away. Mushi is going to start pushing down this tier 2 tower. Mineski probably can defend this. Ravage is up right now, so they choose not to defend this tower and instead going to let this Death Prophet have it free. She does have an Aegis, but Aegis Death Prophet is only sometimes useful as you can't always have your Exorcism up. So, I mean, Malaysia, they were kind of making this trade and they got the Aegis and the Death Prophet, but I don't think they could actually do much with it.
I think it's probably even best if you're ready with it for the team fight, if you have all your ultimates, to go just as the Death Prophet pops his ultimate when he has the Aegis, just to make sure he won't have the Exorcism anymore. Plus, of course, the faster you blow him up means the less, or the, well, I don't even know, I'm just brain farting, but Exorcism won't do any damage if you get bursted down immediately. But look at this Tidehunter, he's on the high ground, Moonlight Shadow comes out, blink, oh, BKB from Mushi just in time. So, Moonlight Shadow for nothing.
That is a 10-second BKB charge, though, and Mushi didn't actually do anything with that except for just run away. Granted, if he did stick around and if he didn't get the BKB charge off, I'm pretty sure the Tide Ravage would have killed him off in a hurry, so Death Prophet is going to ensure her survival, but it's at a steep cost, and really this BKB is of so much importance for the Death Prophet because Mineski, they have so many skills that are going to mess with her, like the Brewmaster's huge array of skills, Earthshaker, Tidehunter, Mirana, all these skills are just so crippling to a DP that she needs this BKB to survive, and well, without the long duration, it's going to be a lot harder for Mushi to do so.
So, for Team Malaysia at the moment, they are still farming pretty well, but of course Radiance is going to be finished on Choni now. Team Malaysia, they're going to be aware of the fact soon enough. But do you think Team Malaysia, do they even feel pressured at the moment? They are farming well, like I just said. Are they farming well enough? Should they leave the matter as it is and just go for the farming game, or should they be pressing for towers every time they have Exorcism?
Oh, they should be going for it, I think. I mean, they don't have a hero to mirror the Terrorblade, and technically the golden experience is still in Team Malaysia's favor. It just doesn't feel like that, and I'm sure they're feeling it as well. So Exorcism is their best tool at recovering, aside from Doom, which is also pretty damn good. They should be looking to take as many objectives as they can possibly get. Otherwise, they're just going to drown in Terrorblade late game. And they're going to land an arrow onto KYXY Mineski. I don't think they can get this kill. They're going to fissure him mid-Timber Chain, and now he's going to get chain stunned down. This is going to be a very easy kill onto KYXY. This Bloodstone is not doing jack for him.
This is pretty much the worst case scenario if you go for a Bloodstone and suddenly you're down to 4 charges. He even went for the blink, but this arrow just snuck up on him completely. Really well done by the Mirana. Of course, if you land an arrow like that, it's at least 50% luck as well, I think. Just throwing it out randomly, but KYXY, he ran into it, he got killed. And that's Aegis reclaimed on Mushi as well. So, just KYXY, this Timber, so he got off to such a great start. But it's really gone downwards after that.
Yeah, Timbersaw at this stage should be the most powerful hero on the map. He should be the one hunting you. He wants to get kills, he wants to fill up his Bloodstone. But he's not actually getting those opportunities. Mineski, they're actually playing pretty conservatively, as they're not like off doing their own thing. They're moving around as groups and taking decisive ganks, and that's really what you have to do against Blink Lion, Blink Doom, and a Timbersaw. So, who also has a Blink, by the way. So, the Mineski team are actually playing pretty well, playing around these Blinks and keeping themselves safe. And this is really restricting the offensive capabilities of Team Malaysia.
Oh, but they want to go on the offense. They're a little bit too late. The smoke already broke on Net. And Tidehunter had enough time to react with the blink out. And oh, Net is gonna get caught with a Fisher as well. Do they have enough follow-up? I don't think so since the arrow missed. But Team Malaysia once again trying to go in the aggressive, but kind of failing to get the jump on Mineski.
Yeah, that's going to set them back even more. I mean, they are still walking into a Brewmaster with Split and a Ravage, so things are getting real dangerous. Even Tidehunter going to just go straight for the Refresher Orb now, and he has Blink and Mechanism. He doesn't really need much else. Force Staff is nice, of course, but man, double Ravage. I don't know if Team Malaysia can do anything about that aside from just doom him. I mean, obviously Doom is the end-all for this game. If you get doomed, you're not going to cast your spells, and everyone except for Terrorblade is going to get crippled by that. But if that doesn't land on him, then the double Ravage is going to crush Malaysia.
Oh, it most certainly is. And one thing we haven't even discussed is that Extinct, he can steal it. Oh, but Blink Thunderclap comes out. Blink Ravage to follow Mushi, though he got his BKB off. They're still going to lose the Doombringer before he gets his ultimate. The arrow follow-up was there from the Mirana KYXY. Blink in. They want to go for the Tidehunter. It's a tankier hero, but level 4 Whirling Death Join. They're going to get hexed up. Finally, they kill the Terrorblade. Oh, thank baby Jesus. They were able to do so. And Mushi, now his Exorcism is just doing so much work. Another Fisher. Mushi is dropping low, but the physical damage from the Exorcism is just way too much for him to handle. So it's a 3-4-0, although the initiation was Mineski's.
Yeah, and the Ohio had to buy back as well, and he kind of wasted his Doom on the Brewmaster at the last second. You can't blame him for doing that, as Brewmaster was dangerously close to TPing out, so he solidified the kill for his team, and that's going to solidify their tower as well. That was one Ravage used, one Split used, and Team Malaysia, because they had the BKB on Mushi, they took that fight very easily. They're going to take down the tier 2 tower, now try to force fortification and a response for the tier 3. They're going to pretty much take everything. I mean, if you take all that and only exchange your Doom and a buyback, that's very much so worth it, especially if they get this top lane tier 2 tower as well, and it looks like they're going to be aiming for that, knowing that there's no Ravage, nor is there a Split.
I have to say that that fight most likely was won just by Mushi's fast reactions on getting the BKB off before getting Ravaged, since his Exorcism really just mowed through heroes left and right, and his net worth almost 15,000 now. Terrorblade, he's been farming up pretty much the entire game, 145 last hits, not the most, but a solid amount nonetheless. Having a Radiance for, I think, about 5 minutes now, maybe a little bit more. Still though, he's just being surpassed by so far, and he doesn't have any survivability. And I really dislike Radiance build overall on Terrorblade, to be honest, just because you're so damn squishy. And Team Malaysia, they have a crap ton of burst.
Bottom lane, Mushi might be jumped upon. There's the blink from everyone. He's gonna get chain stun, not even a chance to cast a single item. And there goes the Death Prophet. Easy peasy there. And yeah, I'm on board with you with that Terrorblade assessment. He's not a hero that immediately skyrockets in power once he gets the item. He's very much so like a Naga Siren. He needs the Radiance in order to get his next item and then his next item. He's not a lone Druid who gets the Radiance and then is happy, or a Spectre who gets the Radiance and then is very happy. So, you know, the Terrorblade is going to need a little bit more time, but hey, getting a kill on the Death Prophet is going to buy you a hell of a lot of time, and taking down a tier 1 tower is also pretty damn viable. Fu's looking for initiation in, has a Blink Dagger and a BKB, so his split is all but guaranteed unless he gets doomed, but Team Malaysia, I don't think they could even defend this without their Death Prophet.
Well, they might try, although, oh, just Terrorblade. He crushes through the Hex, the Earthquake onto Fu as well. Some impetus damage, but Blink Ravage catches 4 heroes. Are you kidding me? Do they have enough follow-up though? They bring down Extinct. Not the hardest hero to kill anyway. Net goes down as well. Primal Split. Don't think he's gonna catch anybody. Ohio gets the blink out. Still though, 3 heroes down. They might even get tier 2 with this.
That was a pretty foolish defense from Team Malaysia. Death Prophet is the majority of their damage, and I mean, they do kind of bait out the split, which is not going to do anything, and now they might be able to mount a defense right here, but this is a little bit late, as they're going to have to catch someone. Doom onto Johnny's going to cancel his TP, and I think they're just going to run him down. He has the Aghanim Doom, and Johnny is completely screwed. Are they going to get Jesse Vash as well? That's the question. He's going to TP out, but there's nothing to interrupt this. Level death, unfortunately, not no vision there, so they get something at the very least, but I don't know, this messy fights from Team Malaysia overall. They might get Roshan after this, actually. It's pretty fortunately going to respawn soon.
Will they use the Exorcism for it though, since they don't have the most amount of physical damage, nor do they have any sources of minus armor? So if they use the Exorcism for it, that will also mean that yes, you're gonna have the Aegis, but you're probably not gonna make good use of the Aegis, at least not for the first 2 minutes or so.
I mean, they can't really kill it off anyway else. The Timbersaw is good at killing heroes, not good at killing Roshan. Same thing for the Doom and his build, so if you don't use Exorcism, you're not going to kill Roshan, or at least it's going to take a hell of a long time and it's not going to benefit you. So this is the only option they really have. They're going to be scouted out by an arrow. I don't think Mineski, they're definitely not in any position to do this. Only Jesse Bastion's in the area.
Who's going to pick up the Aegis? Is it Mushi or actually Ohio? I thought maybe like give it to the Timber Saw. Well, of course, it's going to just ensure that Doom will actually get his ultimate off as well. And will be able to chase even into the base if need be to make sure that the Doom stays active on somebody.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned before that Death Prophet with Aegis is rather underwhelming. It's sometimes nice to have that double life, even if you get popped before you use your Exorcism, then you're guaranteed that spell. But if you use it and then if you use Exorcism and then drop your Aegis, then things can get really messy, as you won't really be able to do that much once you respawn. So Doom is gonna have a lot more consistency there, as even though he is very reliant on his ultimate, he will be able to contribute quite a bit once he has his double life.
So looking at the graphs now as well, once again, it's still almost a 10,000 net worth lead for Team Malaysia. XP around 6,000 or so. So they're looking pretty good. Of course, Terrorblade, if left unchecked, well, he has died a couple of times now in the past couple of minutes, but still, he's farming up, he's accruing more and more gold. So at some point, or where is the point actually where the Terrorblade is going to be strong enough to take over the game?
I don't really know that exact point, but I don't really think it matters. The fact of the matter is that he's getting farm, and Team Malaysia, they're not punishing this. So the longer Team Malaysia wait, the better it's going to be. And I don't really think there's a point where he's just like, okay, I'm just the boss now. It's going to be slow and steady, and over time he's just going to be stronger. And Team Malaysia are eventually going to be, struggling to deal with him. They need, I think, a refresher orb on Doom. This is one of those games.
Well, with an Aghanim's refresher, it's gonna be devastating if he gets both ultimates off. But speaking of refreshers, Tidehunter, he's only 400 gold short of his own. He's gonna have the double Ravage, but unfortunately by the time he gets it, or well, even if he gets it just now, there's still gonna be 3 BKBs on the side of Team Malaysia. All the cores will have it. So the double Ravage, he's gonna have to be patient with it, at least with the second one, and wait out the BKBs. So we'll see if he can actually do so.
Alright, so right now Team Malaysia, without an Exorcism, are going to play this a little bit cautiously, and knowing that the enemy team has all their ultimates, going to be playing it super cautiously. I don't really know what Team Malaysia can do next. I mean, they have the Aegis, and they still do. So technically they should be looking for fights right now, but can they actually push tier 3s? I don't think they can. They're going to need to like split push or find a pick-off or something, and right now, playing this defensively, everyone on their side of the map, they're not going to be able to do that. They're assembling, maybe going to smoke up. Do they even have smokes? They don't, so I don't actually know what they're doing.
By the way, look at Net. He has himself a point booster on the Lion. Aghanim Scepter in the making. Still, of course, about 3,000 gold away from it. So it's going to take pretty long for him to get it, but it's not a bad item just because Terrorblade, he's usually just clumped up together with his illusions, doesn't really spread them out all that much like an Naga Siren would across the map. At least not in a fight, so this Aghanim Scepter, Finger of Death might make a difference later on, but Refresher Orb on Tidehunter just as Team Malaysia are coming in for the push.
Yeah, you can't ask for better timing than this. Mushi is going to almost get hit with an arrow, but almost doesn't actually count for anything. They're going to go for this push knowing that their Aegis is running out of time, but now the Blink Ravage is going to be blocked by Mushi mostly, but it's going to hit squarely onto Ohio, who's not going to be able to get his Doom, but now he's going to revive with double life. The Timbersaw jumps right in and kills off the Mirana in a hurry. The Brewmaster is also split as well, but he can't really do anything without the rest of his team. In fact, the Brewlings might be in danger of going down right now, yet the Exorcism is out and it's quickly running out of duration. If Team Malaysia can't get anything done with this Exorcism, they're not going to get anything done at all. The wall off is perfect, and the Brewmaster is going to escape to the base, but Mushi's going to use the rest of his Exorcism to kill off what he can in this mid lane. But I think Mineski, they have pretty much held enough. They can't push anymore, Team Malaysia, and they have another Ravage as well.
So, successful defense from Mineski. Really well done getting the Blink Ravage like that. Mushi, he was still able to outrun it and then activate the BKB before he got stunned. Aegis down though, so one fight for Mineski if you ask me, just losing his support for that. Oh god, Johnny did drop pretty low himself there. Unfortunately, Team Malaysia, I'm not too sure if Lion didn't want to blink in that aggressive and Finger of Death him down or something, but in any case, it's just another minute and a half at least now. Some more breathing space for Mineski.
Yeah, and that breathing space for Mineski equals breathing space for Terrorblade. More and more farm on him as he picks up his Manta Style. With the Radiance and the Manta Style illusions, he's going to hit pretty much Naga Siren status. He'll be able to farm and split push pretty much anything he wants. At a certain point, he'll be able to run illusions down the lane and just burn down the creep wave, and that's pretty much the end of it. So Team Malaysia, are they still technically in the lead? They are. It just doesn't feel like it. Like, they are on a timer, and though the Death Prophet's very tanky, though the Timbersaw is getting quite a bit as well, they're not actually doing that much with their farm. Whereas Mineski, they're budget heroes. They're quote-unquote Tide Hunter, who, you know, he's down in the middle of the net worth. He's contributing just so much more than I feel like the Timbersaw is.
Timbersaw, he's just not finding the openings, and of course, if you're pushing high ground, you have really nothing to timber chain yourself to. There are a couple of trees, but getting the right angles, it's just so damn hard when you're going high ground. At least if you're doing so from the middle lane, which is the hardest lane to go from, or at least has the least trees, kind of. So he's gonna have to blink in first and just get into the thick of things.
And that's always a little bit dangerous, is when you're in the middle of things, you're gonna hit with Ravage, Echo Slam gets a lot easier to land, and stuff like that. So Team Malaysia, they're going to try to go for it one more time. The Timbersaw has Boots of Travels available, but there's the Echo Slam onto Mushi, and a Ravage going to connect as well. Mushi's going to drop very low very quickly. He's going to get bailed out, though. A beautiful stun from Nat. Now Mushi with the Echo Slam out is going to try to turn around and fight this. I don't think he's healthy enough to do this. In fact, Terrorblade is going to show that off in a hurry. Mushi is going to need some heals from the Enchantress. He's going to get healed up a little bit. He's going to get dispelled, though. He will get Cyclone right back up into the air again and will dodge the arrow, but now he's still on the run. Shiva's Guard buying him the time, and Mushi should get a full heal off his Echo Slam if he survives that long. He's still surviving. Now Fu is going to get hexed up, or doomed up rather, the Terrorblade as well as the Tide Hunter dying to the Timbersaw in the back end, and I can't believe it, but Mushi survives, and now he finds a bottled rune as well. They're gonna struggle to push this tower, but they take a fantastic team fight. Mushi should have gone down there, but this guy is just unkillable with his Heart Shivas.
Of course, his team helping out perfectly there as well, and net triple Earth Spike. Mushi would have gone down 100% if Net hadn't been there with that Earth Spike there. And even after that, the Hexes just, they were kiting Mineski around perfectly. Oh god, I really thought that popping the Exorcism was a huge mistake, but they proved me wrong. Mushi just tanking it up with the Heart of Tarask. And even without the Exorcism now, they're already pressuring just the tier 3s and the Rax.
No Brewmaster, no Tide for 20 seconds. Mineski can do a little bit of poking and prodding with their skills, but there's no Echo Slam either, which right now would just be absolutely devastating to Team Malaysia with their positioning. But, you know, Arrow's going to fly through. Does Doom really care? I'm getting a little bit of frame rate lag, but I don't think it matters because Raxes are down. They're going to get hit with something. Yeah, I'm just not seeing anything. I think I'm just going to try to reconnect to this game.
Sometimes it happens, especially when you're connecting to the Southeast Asian or Chinese servers. So hopefully it's going to fix the issues. For me, it's rather fine, so all is good for the viewers as well, I think. But 14 to 14 is the kill score, and the kill score actually doesn't really reflect at all what's really happening in this game. Just looking at the graphs themselves, a 16,000 net worth lead, XP pretty much at the same exact area. If somebody just connects into the game and sees like, oh, 14-14, it's going well for Mineski, that is not the case, and they're also a melee Rax behind.
Yeah, so now that's the definitive lead that Team Malaysia have been looking for. The Terrorblade is still going to be scarier moving forward, but a lot less so, seeing as though he's Rax down. I mean, with the Radiance and Manta Style, you'll be able to mitigate most of that kind of disadvantage from the Raxes, but one Rax down means that Malaysia are going to be a lot easier to... They're going to have a much easier time in order to take the second Rax than the third Rax, especially if they get an Aegis, which is going to be respawning in about 2 minutes. I'm actually not reconnecting to the game. I'm just going off of the freaking stream right now. I don't know what's going on with my Dota.
You can just keep on trying. To me it says you're reconnected.
Yeah, I got it.
It's... I guess the servers don't want to cooperate with you. They're like, you've casted enough of Southeast Asian Dota today.
Yeah, I'm at like 7 hours. The sun is starting to rise. This is not good.
Fun times, man. Powering through. It's for the greater cause.
Probably. And, well, now Team Malaysia, they're going to go for their second set of Raxes. This is fighting into a Primal Split, now Aghanimed, a Ravage, double Ravage rather, and they have no Aegis. So if Mushi gets hit with a stun before he can pop his BKB, this could go all south for Team Malaysia, but they're going to go for it anyway. He's going to pop the BKB very early. I mean, this is just chip damage at this point. Once his BKB runs out, he can't afford to stay here any longer. He's going to run away. Fu's going to jump right in for a split. Mushi's going to dodge an arrow, and he will be more or less fine as Mineski. They're not really following up with this Brewmaster. In fact, Brewmaster's all alone. No one else is with him. I mean, I guess they can't really do anything else, but now there's a Ravage going to connect onto 4 heroes. Mushi's going to be focused down. The second Ravage is going to connect on 4 heroes as well. Mushi's still alive, still has the exorcism going, and now Johnny's going to go, but Net blows him up. That's going to be 2 down for Mineski. However, Malaysia have lost their Death Prophet. They're going to try to go for this Brewmaster. BKB's going to protect him for most of this damage, and I don't think Malaysia have enough in order to kill him off. In fact, Earthshaker might be looking to kill off Net. Another arrow is not going to fly. The fissure up to the high ground, though, is going to kill him off. KYXY is pretty much trapped. No, he's going to find a way out of those creeps. But Team Malaysia, they take a 3-for-2 trade, and it looks like they don't get anything else off of that.
Ova, he was the one to turn the fight around with the Blink Echo Slam. He had an Aghanim Scepter as well before the fight just picked up on the Earthshaker. Oh, the fissure, never mind. Not gonna be there. Arrow gonna miss as well thanks to Tor. Easy KYXY, he's still on the high ground. He's not safe yet. Blink dagger, nope, fissure comes out. Doesn't get the Timber Chain through. He's still gonna have the Blink. He's gonna be safe, but Roshan is up. Mineski, unfortunately, they don't have the heroes that are necessary to take it for themselves. But this Blink Echo Slam, without that, Team Malaysia would have just crushed Mineski completely. And Net, I love his focus on the Terror Blade.
Oh yeah, Net is playing just off the chart right now. Like, even though his Enchantress friend isn't actually able to do that much, just 40 minutes in Enchantress, he can't really do that much. The Lion has been focusing his Finger of Death on the Terror Blade. He's been getting some amazing Earth Spikes, and then just value everywhere. And his Aghanim Scepter is pretty much never going to come up, but that's fine as long as he keeps playing the way he is. Really, the most concerning thing for Team Malaysia is that if Death Prophet goes down, then they have no more damage in the fights. So, Mineski, they are going to be focusing on that 100%, but Team Malaysia now have an opportunity where their Exorcism will be up, and none of the Mineski ultimates will be up. So that's going to be Malaysia at their strongest and Mineski at their weakest.
But will they use the extra? Never mind. They're gonna have to go for Roshan, at least start Roshan without it. They're gonna have some physical damage or some extra to release from the pack leader's aura. They're gonna have to use Exorcism again for this, I think. But it's Cheese Roshan now, so it's well worth it.
Yeah, getting the Aegis and Cheese is just amazing, and they're going to very quickly go for that Roshan. And Mineski, they are way too far away. Maybe if they had a Ravage, they would go for it, but they only have a Split, and you know, as good as Split is, it's probably not good enough for this. So Team Malaysia, they're going to take the Roshan. However, this is going to buy time for Mineski's ultimates to cool down. By the time Team Malaysia are going to look to make a push, there's going to be double Ravage, there's going to be Split, and it's going to be Mineski once again at their strongest. So Aegis Cheese, sure hope it's worth it for them. Otherwise, this could be potentially a bad situation for Team Malaysia.
By the way, look at what item Terrorblade went for Johnny. He picked up a Blink Dagger now. I'm not too sure if that's the best item pickup. Of course, the last fight, their biggest issue was really there was no follow-up, or not, at least not fast enough to the double Ravage, which was perfect. Hitting 4 heroes on both Ravages. It is pretty much the best Ravage you can ask for. But Terrorblade Blink, what do you think of it?
He looks like Anti-Mage. He doesn't really play like Anti-Mage though, so I honestly don't know why you go for this item. Like, it's a good item on most heroes. I don't think it's a good item on Terrorblade. I just don't see it.
Yeah, neither do I really, but
Blink Reflection?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh god, it's not like they even have like a crazy hero to reflect, something like an Anti-Mage or I don't know. But their supporting cast for Mineski is actually pretty damn farm, especially this Earthshaker. Owa is yet to die in this game. 2-0-13, Aghanim Scepter plus a Veil of Discord and the level 3 Echo Slam.
Man, that is just so freaking devastating. Malaysia have to watch their spacing, and if they don't get initiations with the Aghanim to Doom, then, I mean, even if they do, who are they going to Doom? I think you have to Doom the Tidehunter, right? Otherwise, you're just going to get hit with double Ravage, and then during that stun duration, Terrorblade is going to be killing you off, but I mean, even dooming Terrorblade seems appealing right now. Dooming the Earthshaker is also getting more and more appealing. Malaysia, they just have so many people they need to doom, and they only have one doom to do it. Assault Cuirass on that doom. Man, I said doom like so many times in the past 10 seconds. It's certainly going to help out, especially with Mushi's damage output, but I don't know, they're facing once again into all the ultimates of Mineski.
Well, they only want to have buyback on Mineski as the Brewmaster, so if Team Malaysia get a favorable fight, that should be a second set of racks really here. But facing all the ultimates, like I said, it's going to be scary. But Mineski, can they get the initiation? Oh, that's the initiation! Arrow into Mushi. Where's the follow-up? Blink immediately into Primal Split. Mushi taking a lot of damage, but he gets the BKB off. They were just too damn slow. The Echo Slam completely whiffed all of a sudden. Exorcism comes out from Mushi, but there's the Blink Ravage, catches free. BKB onto Ohio, can he pop his ultimate onto somebody? He's waiting for it, waiting for the correct target. No, it's onto an illusion of the Terror Blade, huge mistake. But Mushi is somehow still alive. KYXY tries to go through, Mushi pops his cheese, and Fu trying to go for the TP out, might even succeed as Net blows up the Terror Blade once again. He is just reserving that Finger of Death for the Terror Blade exclusively. But fight 1 and GG well played comes out.
Huh, I don't think it was actually GG. Like, they haven't lost their rack in there. Well, now getting cleaned up, but I think they probably could have held on a little while longer. The Ravage was messed up. They hit the first Ravage perfectly, and it landed on Mushi. If the Tidehunter didn't hesitate as long as he did, he could have gotten the second Ravage off and hit Mushi and then killed him off. But Mushi had a split second where he got his Yule Scepter up, and he dodged completely that second Ravage, and then got cheese off, and then was fine to continue. So, in a best of 3, with Team Malaysia coming from the winner's bracket with the 1-game advantage, they're going to close it out and take the Thai championship. I don't even know if they lost any games.
Yeah, they didn't. It was all best of 1, and then just this being a best of 3, but having a 1-game advantage. So Team Malaysia undefeated in the Thailand championship. But all in all, guys, this is gonna be it for this. Team Malaysia are gonna be your champions, and well played by them. I still think the follow-up for that arrow was pretty damn bad. It was a 5-second arrow, and Mushi still just got his BKB off before the next lockdown. But in any case, guys, thank you so much for watching, as well as just supporting us, and of course the Thailand championship itself. Huge shout out to the sponsors as well: Asus, Intel, GFL, and CGT. So hopefully they're gonna do another one of these events in the future as well. They most likely will if you show enough support for them, but we're gonna just sign off now. A few songs to finish up the stream. We're gonna upload the votes as fast as possible to our YouTube as well, so you can share them, watch them if you missed some games. And Mike, any last words?
I'm freaking tired. The sun is starting to rise, and that means I have to go to sleep.
Oh yeah, that's the logical conclusion. The sun is rising, off to sleep.
Yeah.
So just have a good night, Mike, and for all of those who were watching, have a good night, good morning, evening, whatever time zone you may be in, and just have a good one.